Evening all, welcome to Project Zomboid. Right, we're doing a bit of exploring. Now, one of the beauties of obviously a game like this is it does give you the ability to go, quote, explore. And look what I found, a mere 5 minutes walk from my base, a McCoy logging company. So I am going to make references to obviously the logging joke. If you don't know what I mean, just Google South Park and logging and you'll see what I mean. So logging has always interested me because it's something that obviously we do every day, and I think logging is an interesting kind of pastime for men. Obviously, women can't log. I'm afraid, I'm very sorry to say that, but women obviously cannot be loggers. But for men, it's one of these kind of little privileges we get in life, just to kind of be very crude and base. Logging is something that makes a man feel themselves a man, and that's obviously important to do. In terms of this base, though, it's a huge open area kind of logging mill with distribution centers, with office complex, and it's actually not too bad. There's very little zombies here. Now, there used to be a well here. Post in the comments if I've got that wrong, because I'm pretty sure, do you know what, as I say it, I realize I'm probably wrong, but it wasn't a bad place for a base. And that's what I think one of the areas that I was kind of curious to look at. Was this kind of base building area. This one would be good now because you can actually do rainwater things. As I walked through, I realized this thing's on fire. Somebody has set this thing on fire, and apparently it was Donna Work. Donna Work basically walked through here and set the microwave, and it exploded. So it's all his fault. But it's cool that actually buildings can burn down. I really like that. I think this is something that I don't know if this has always been in the game, because again, we've never really messed with fire in this game. We've always, I've always avoided it, to be honest. I've never noticed it. But I love the fact that it's in, and I think it's something very cool indeed. As you notice, the water is still in some of the pipes here, so that's obviously a good reason to keep looting as well, because sometimes you do fight. Well, water stays in pipes forever. In most cases, until the water pressure goes, then obviously it can disappear. But a toilet will always have water in it, and I know that probably doesn't sound very appetizing, but if you're thirsty and you're dying, a nice bit of toilet water, if you pick the chunks out, is going to be quite tasty indeed. And here we go. So this is then another part of the base. So it could actually be on a multiplayer server. This could be your new Woodbury right here. You could make this into a hell of a base with little houses that you build and zombie defenses, etc. But I think that is probably something that I would say as well, is that maybe the game does need. I've not seen an excessive amount of zombie hordes. We've not even shown a zombie horde yet, except maybe in one of the first videos I did here. We've not shown you a proper horde, which is hundreds of zombies strong. You do get them, again, let's be clear, like in The Walking Dead, when they crest a corner and all of a sudden there's just a sea of zombies in front of them. You have that in this as well, but we've just not seen them, to be honest. So that's a bit surprising in a way. I think it's funny because it's probably a good thing we haven't, because they would destroy whatever we have. They would overrun our base, and then we would probably not be able to get it back without a hell of a fight. And usually what you find is, I had this happen to me before when my warehouse where we are now was actually overrun by a zombie horde, and I had to just basically lure them out, and then over time just clear them out, and it did take a long time. I got bit a lot, and it's only because I think back then you couldn't turn, but now you can. It's very dangerous to do it. So I think they've got the balance just right. I mean, zombies do feel pretty, they feel good in this because they're not easy. But once you become skilled with the game, you know how to manage them. So again, that's a real win for the game in my books. Again, not really much point with this this logging company. There's not really much more here to do and see. So I think this was always the problem with picking a good base. It's not always easy to actually have a very there's no ideal base. There's a farm in the top kind of left of the map that has actually got a well, so that's very much like Series 2 of Walking Dead. You can build yourself a nice little kind of open area farm there. That's not a bad idea. I mean, we maybe try that soon, later on in the video series, but I think for the time being we need to stick closer to town because we're just not quite there yet. I think as the game obviously then ticks on, eventually you're going to have no power, no water, nothing. So you are then entirely dependent upon what you grow and what you catch. And I think this is when we will migrate fully up to the north. I think generally, a lot of the time there's not a great deal to loot for as well. I think, it'd be nice to see a bit more loot in the game, bit different things that you can maybe use. But I think just generally it's incredibly good fun, and I would stress that this is, the multiplayer element of this is just exceptional, and I do mean absolutely exceptional. It's fun, it's a whole new dynamic, and it just makes the game very interesting. Soon though, there will be bandits on our server, and I think that's when the game really comes to life. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.